Attention pet lovers and Mexico adventurers. In this video, everything you need to know about traveling to Mexico with a pet. We're diving deep into everything you need to know about traveling with pets to Mexico in 2025. Whether you're driving across the border or flying into Cancun, we'll cover the requirements, the costs, some tips, and even where to stay with your pups. So grab a leash and let's get started. Traveling with pets to Mexico means bringing your dog or cat. Only dogs and cats, as per my notes, as Mexico doesn't consider other animals like ferrets or birds as pets that you can bring into the country for a vacation or relocation or adventure at very least. So whether you're driving to Baja's beaches, flying to Puerto Vallarta, or sailing to Mazatlan, you'll need to comply with regulations set by Mexico's National Service of Health, Safety, and Agricultural Food Quality, or SENASICA is the acronym SENASICA, to ensure your pet's entry is smooth and disease-free. The good news, Mexico's rules are relatively straightforward, especially for US and Canadian travelers, and pets aren't quarantined unless they show signs of illness. The process differs depending on how you're entering, by land, air, or sea, and involves documentation, inspections, and sometimes fees. You'll also need to plan for your return to the US, where the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, has specific rules, especially since August 24. So you need to think about the rules going back to your home country as well. Mexico is a pet-friendly destination with tons of dog-friendly hotels, campsites, and even restaurants, particularly in places like Baja and Riviera Maya. But preparation is key to avoid border hiccups or airline headaches. So let's break down what you need to make your trip a tail-wagging success. Driving to Mexico with your dog or cat is one of the easiest ways to cross the border, especially since rules relaxed in 2019. As of December 16, 2019, you no longer need a health certificate signed by a veterinarian for dogs or cats from the US or Canada when entering by vehicle. This applies at major border crossings like Tijuana, Nogales, or Mexicali. Instead, your pet will be inspected by SENASICA officials at the border's Mexican Animal and Plant Health Inspection Office, the OISA, to check for signs of contagious diseases, parasites, or ticks. Inspections are often quick and not always required, especially at smaller crossings without an OISA office, but be prepared to stop if directed. For dogs, you need a current rabies vaccination certificate, issued at least 30 days before entry and valid for 1 or 3 years, depending on the vaccine. The certificate should include the vaccine's name, lot number, and expiration date, plus your name and address as the owner. Cats don't need vaccination paperwork, but will undergo a visual inspection for health and parasites. Pets under 3 months old can't enter Mexico, so plan accordingly. It's also smart to bring proof of ownership, like registration papers or microchip records, in case officials ask, though this is rare. If you're traveling with 1 to 3 pets, there's no customs import fee. But if you have 4 or more, you will pay a fee of about 2,000 pesos, about $100 in 2025 per the federal tax law. And you'll be sent to the cargo area for a commercial import process, which may require a customs agent. It starts getting a bit complicated. Pets must be in a clean carrier or restrained in the vehicle, ideally in the back seat or crated, as some border agents have fined drivers for unrestrained animals. If your pet shows signs of skin infections like mites or lesions, bring a vet's letter on letterhead detailing diagnosis and treatment, including the vet's license number to avoid delays. For other animals, like birds, ferrets, or turtles, check SENASICA's website for specific animal health requirements and sheets, as rules are stricter and may involve permits or bans There was a prohibition on pet rabbits for a while due to fears of certain diseases. So always declare your pet at the border to avoid fines and keep carriers clean, free of toys, treats, or bedding. As these may be removed and destroyed during disinfection by Seneca. Flying to Mexico with your pet is a bit more complex, as airlines and airports have stricter rules than land borders. While Seneca dropped the health certificate requirement for U.S. and Canadian pets entering by land, some airports still require an international health certificate for dogs and cats arriving by air. Many airlines require this, so sometimes it's not a government thing, but an airline thing or an airport thing. Always check with your airline at least 3 months in advance, as policies vary. For example, I'm told that American Airlines requires a health certificate issued within 10 days of travel, while Delta may allow in-cabin pets without one if they meet Seneca's visual inspection standards. That's just some notes I have. You know, use this information at your own risk. Costs for pet travel ranges from $50 to $250, depends on the airline, the destination, and whether your pet travels in cabin cargo, which I know is a big deal for pet owners. The health certificate, if required, must be issued by a licensed veterinarian on letterhead within 8 days of entry and include your name, address, the pet's species, age, and sex, a statement that the pet is free of contagious diseases, the vet's license number, and the date and expiration of the most recent rabies vaccination for dogs. Dogs also need proof of a rabies shot, given at least 30 days before travel, valid for 1 or 3 years. Both dogs and cats must have proof of treatment for internal and external parasites, like tapeworms and ticks, within the past 6 months with the product name and application date listed. Cats sometimes don't need vaccination records, but face visual inspections at the airport's OISA office. Upon arrival, you'll visit the OISA kiosk near customs where a Seneca officer inspects your pet and the documents. Present the original health certificate and a copy, plus rabies and parasite records for dogs. If approved, you'll receive an animal health import certificate, allowing your pet to enter. Pets must be in a clean, clear carrier with only an absorbent pad, no toys, treats, or bedding, as these will be removed for disinfection. Puppies and kittens under 3 months are banned, and carriers are sprayed with preventative treatment by Seneca. Up to 3 pets enter free. Again, 4 or more, there is a cargo process with the customs agent and a fee as well. For non-dog/cat pets, contact Seneca or your Mexican consulate, as requirements are complex and may involve lab tests or retention until cleared. Service dogs need a health certificate regardless of origin and must meet airline rules, often traveling in cabin for free. Book direct flights to minimize stress and confirm pet limits. Some airlines cap pets per flight. Popular entry points include Mexico City, Cancun, and Guadalajara, where you can also register for the Frequent Traveler Pet Program to simplify repeat trips. Heading back to the U.S. with your pet? Since August 1st, 2024, the CDC has tightened rules for dogs entering the U.S., even from low-risk countries like Mexico, which isn't on the high-risk rabies list. Dogs must be at least 6 months old, appear healthy, and have an ISO-compatible microchip readable by universal scanners. You'll need to submit a CDC dog import form online on the day of travel, showing the receipt to airlines and border officials. The form, valid for 6 months, multiple entries, requires details like your dog's microchip number and travel history. Rabies vaccination proof isn't mandatory for dogs from Mexico, but is recommended, as some states, like California, require it for dogs over 4 months. So if you're going by land or wherever you're flying into, you got to consider the state as well as the federal regulations. Cats don't need rabies proof or the CDC form, but must appear healthy and face inspection for diseases like screwworm, especially since Mexico is listed as a screwworm affected place in November 2024. Okay, for screwworm, dogs need a freedom certification from a Seneca authorized vet in Mexico, listed on the MVRA directory of veterinary clinics. If your pet looks ill, a U.S. vet may examine them at your expense. No quarantine is required unless diseases are suspected, and there's no duty fee for re-entering pets. Check state-specific rules. California, for example, skips health certificates for private pets, but needs rabies proof for dogs. Airlines may have additional requirements like health certificates within 10 days, so confirm before booking. Always carry your pet's rabies records and proof of ownership to avoid delays, especially if crossing by land where inspections vary. Mexico is a haven for pet-friendly travel, especially in Baja, where you'll find hotels and campsites welcoming dogs. Discover Baja's list highlights spots like Rosarito's beachfront hotels, Ensenada's pet-friendly RV parks, and San Felipe's dog-welcoming campsite. So I recommend this website called Discover Baja for some tips for dog owners. And then in mainland Mexico, Puerto Vallarta has a ton of spots. Mazatlan has spots. Cancun, anywhere on the beach, you'll be able to find some spots, whether it's a hotel or a campsite. Here are some tips for a smooth trip. First, enroll in Seneca's Frequent Traveler Pet Program if you visit Mexico more than a couple times a year. It costs nothing and requires a health certificate valid for 6 months, rabies vaccination, and parasite treatment records, streamlining repeat entries at airports like Cancun or Mazatlan. Second, pack a pet travel kit. A 50-pound bag of dry food per family is allowed in original packaging, plus collapsing bowls, a leash, and cleaning supplies. Third, ensure your pet's rabies shot is current, administered at least 15 days before travel, and consult a vet for flea/tick preventatives, especially in tropical areas. Fourth, check airline pet policies early. In-cabin pets, usually under 20 pounds, have a fee, while cargo pets face breed restrictions like no snub-nosed dogs, I'm told, on United. Fifth, use pet transport services. There's one called Pet Relocation. If flying stresses your pet or you have multiple animals, this could be another option. Sixth, join travel communities. MyLatinLife, we have a Telegram group that you can join and you can talk to other expats and digital nomads. At land borders, inconsistent inspections can catch you off guard. Some crossings, like Tecate, lack OISA offices, I'm told, but others, like Tijuana, may scrutinize unrestrained pets. Always declare your pet and have rabies records handy. Flying is trickier. Airlines like Volaris may reject health certificates over small errors, like a missing vet license. So double check documents. Airport OISA offices like Cancun's can be crowded, with wait times up to several hours. So arrive early and avoid same-day flight paperwork. Health risks like screwworm in Mexico require vigilance. Check your pet for wounds and get a vet's clearance before returning to the U.S. Environmental hazards like ticks in Baja's deserts or heat in Los Cabos call for preventatives and hydration. If traveling with 4 or more pets, budget for the fee and extra time in the cargo area. And consider splitting pets among family members to stay under the limit. For non-dog cat pets, expect delays or bans. Rabbits, for instance, are barred due to disease risks. Contact Seneca. I have a number here. It's +52 55 59 05 1000. So maybe that number works. You can contact them for clarity. Lastly, U.S. reentry can stall if your dog lacks a microchip or a CDC form, so complete these online before departure. And there you have it, pet parents. Traveling with your dog or cat to Mexico is totally doable with the right prep. Rabies certificates for dogs, clean carriers, and a plan for pet-friendly stays in Baja and beyond. Whether you're driving to Rosarito or flying to Mexico City, you and your furry friend can make unforgettable memories. Check Seneca's website, call your airline, and pack those records to keep the trip stress-free. If you've been to Mexico with your pet, share your tips and experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you and benefit from your lived experience. And if this guide helped, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell for more travel hacks. Also, if you'd like to work with us directly, if you'd like to get your questions answered, there's a link in the description to my calendar where you can book a call with us, become our client. We can help you with relocation to Mexico. We can help you with residency, citizenship, bank accounts, driver's license, car importations, animal importations, any aspect of relocation to Mexico or Latin America. Cool. Safe travels, and we'll see you in the next video.